Let's pick up on the Stuart Lancaster question. Luke, in your opinion, how big a blow is this to Leinster and to Irish rugby? He has been there a long time. This is his 7th season. Hard to believe that.
Yeah, it really is. I actually really thought he was going to be perfectly suited for that role after Joe Schmidt in the Irish team. But look, he goes on to pastures new. I think he's had a great period with Leinster. I think they've been really, really consistent, and he's had a massive impact in terms of the training methods and the ideas. So he will be a big loss, but I think there's good foundations there at Leinster that he's put in place himself. I think whoever they get in, I think they'll have lots of options because it's a nice project to come into, and I think they'll be still able to be very, very competitive.
We've heard about these infamous Tuesday training sessions that apparently were hell on earth.
I got out just in time.
But it worked. Whenever he went there, Leinster's win percentage was like 60%, 2 tries a game. It's considerably better than that now. What has he changed, do you think, in the time he's been there?
I think the unstructured play, as you alluded to there, the fitness levels had to be very, very high to be able to do that, because you've got to be able to be thinking all the time. So the fitness levels have probably gone up another level, but that unstructured play, Leinster for long periods, if they had the ball, for long periods of time, they're really difficult to contain. Now, they've got so many threats around the pitch, and people will say, well, that's because of the players, but I think it was a sea change in terms of the mentality, and it makes them a really difficult proposition for any team.
But it's a results-based business, professional rugby, of course. Stevie, has the return of one Heineken Cup been enough, do you think, to secure his legacy? What will his legacy be at Leinster?
I think for him personally, probably not. But after the 2015 Rugby World Cup, he was the bad guy walking out of English rugby, and he's resurrected his career from, in my opinion, at Leinster. As Lucky said, great foundations. But Leinster have always had a little bit of stardust, a little bit of magic with the likes of Brian O'Driscoll, Gordon Darcy, other players scattered over the pitch, young Luke Fitzgerald coming through the ranks. But now I think whoever takes the pitch for Leinster, their skills are so high. They can make 5 or 6 changes every single week, and the level of performance is still very much at the same level. So for me, I think Stuart Lancaster has brought just a little more professionalism, the finer details, ironing out other things. There's chat now, I'm not sure what Lucky thinks, of Johnny Sexton potentially next season stepping into a similar role that he had. I know there's a lot of chat about that. It'll be very interesting to see. But I think he can walk away with his head held very high, because all the players absolutely love working with him.
Leamy and Contepomi also gone under. It is a time of upheaval. There's a sort of a changing of the guard, do you feel, at Leinster?
Yeah, it feels like that a little bit. I know Leo said, September, that's the time, it's only September, but that's the time of year when this sort of stuff happens. It only happens when you're a Stuart Lancaster. It only happens when you're very, very highly sought after. The other lads moved on, obviously Leamy back to Munster and Contepomi back to Argentina. Big losses, but I suppose if you're going to make a bit of a change at the top there, or the guy who seems to be creating the tone with Leinster rugby, it's probably timely if there was going to be a change. I think if Leo had his head screwed on, he would have said to the lads, stop talking about Stuart Lancaster. He's so high profile. Everybody talks about his level of intensity and what he's brought to this Leinster team. Stop talking about him, because now Racing want him. Now everybody else wants him. It seems like everybody has such a good word to say about Lancaster. He's obviously done something incredible to that Leinster team.
The other interesting thing is Leo Cullen has only got a 1-year deal. Like, his contract's up at the end of the season. He only kind of signs 1 year after 1 year, and his future's always up in the air. And Leo, what are you doing next year? Yeah, sure, we'll see how things pan out. Leo, he never gives anything away. So you just don't know. Leo might step down at the end of the season. You just never know. And whoever comes in to take over this Leinster squad, hopefully they can go on to achieve more success. But yeah, you're definitely right, Graham. Lots of upheaval.